actually work with them. So it will make extra adjustment for the attachment. So let's go into any of the attachments. Let's say this high one. And you see that it did an adjustment because it's being calculated later on, and it works with the aim offset, it works with everything. So one last thing is that maybe we would like to do a by hand ADS, right? So I will just show it inside one of the subgraphs, how you can do an overlay, absolutely procedural ADS. So let's go into hand cannon. Let's go in here directly. And anim graph, hand cannon, walking in air. Okay, let's go into walking, grounded. Sprint is just sprint. So only here we have the ADS, which is here, true. So if the tag changes to ADS, we got this. So what we want to do is disconnect that for now. This is Anim based ADS, and we're going to make a procedural ADS. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this that we already have, and then, well, actually all of it, and we're actually going to take this over this. So the only difference so far is that we are using the hand cannon walking blend space instead of the ADS blend space. But yeah, here when we modify bone, we just modify rotation right now. But what we want to do is actually do a translation. So we're going to say we should calculate it. So we can go into event graph, and we need to try get pawn owner, get camera, no, get camera component, get player camera manager, because this is going to be done only on local player. So branch, try get, oh come on, try get pawn owner. So this is a pawn, so we can say if it's locally controlled and player controlled. So if it is both, only on local player, we want to do this calculation because it's quite heavy, it's a lot of math. So let's do it only locally and only once. So we're going to get player camera, we're going to get forward vector, and from this forward vector we're going to say just multiply by a float, let's say 20 centimeters or something like that. So we got a point and get actor location. So this is the camera, 20 centimeters in front of camera, a point, right? So we got this point, and now we want to what do we want to do? We want to actually move our IK hand gun. Well, it's not everything. We need to also try get pawn owner, get equipment manager, item in slot. Okay, we got item in slot. It is valid because we're doing ADS only when it's valid, right? So if it is valid, we got this item. We want to get mesh. Well, how to do it? Oh, and by the way, weapon. We know it's a weapon, so we can just maybe cast to weapon just to make it faster, because we could of course just get component by class, do stuff like that, but we want to get skeletal mesh immediately. Oh, and of course, if it is even found, then cast it. And if it is a weapon, then get skeletal mesh and get transform socket, and it is the reference. Okay, so we got this reference point, and we should also, like, this should be calculated once inside a weapon. Let's do it properly. I don't want to teach you bad habits, so it's going to be a bit longer, but it's worth it. So going to weapon interface, and we're just doing get aim point, how to call it, get aim point relative. Okay, and it returns a vector. I think only a vector. If not, then we're going to do stuff. Or you know what? Yeah, just a vector. So site to root adjustment. Okay, so there is this. And get aim point. We go to our weapon template, we go into interface and get aim point relative. No, get aim point adjustment relative. Yeah, it's this one. Yeah. Okay. And we want this to be calculated once and only once inside our BP. Let's say on begin play. We don't need it to do more than one. Begin play. And now what we want to do is want to get this, get socket transform split, and get root, no, get socket, well, no, it's just 0, 0, 0, so, and this will be in actor component parent bone space in component space, so relative to 0, 0, 0. And we want to ADS point, and you know what, let's go into here. And instead of making it a vector, let's make it a transform. It will be easier to store a lot of data, like vector and rotation, and we can just ignore the third one. So we go into weapon template and we recombine this, and we just set. Oh yeah, this has to be transform as well. Yes. Okay. And we go into aim point, and it's this, this. Oh no, I broke everything. So this is a vector. No, this is now a transform. Oh no, I broke this. Let's make it a vector again. Yes, change. And ADS point is a transform. So here goes the ADS point. And here this works again. Okay. And cut. Okay, ADS point set. Is this editable? Yes, yes. Socket name, it will be reference. Okay. Get aim point relative. Okay, so we go now. Like this is done. This is done. We go here. We don't have to do this anymore. We just have to get item in slot. And we have to get relative message. And we don't need this as well. No, we need this. Okay. We need this in a moment. So we're doing this, get aim point relative. Okay, we got this transform. So vector, so this is just the location. And we need to do what we did here of this okay, location, unrotate plus rotate. Blocking point start is this one. Okay, so I think we have to copy this and put it unfortunately here. So head to something. Okay, so this one will be head to, and also head. And this will be virtual bone gun. Yes, that's the name. Yeah, let's do it like this. Plus x will be 20. Instead of those calculations, we can do this. So we will get, oh, you know what? Can we get forward vector from rotation? Oh, we can. Okay, can we multiply it by a float, let's say 20? Yes, we can. So let's move this a bit down. And we're not going to use this for first because I want to show you something. So yeah, what we are doing here, we're getting pawn owner saying if it's local player, and if it is local player, then we want to continue with our calculations. So we want to has weapon, check if he has a weapon. If he has a weapon and it is valid, we're getting the aim point relative, and then we're getting our target pawn owner. Let's do cast to character, and let's move all of this forward, and let's do a mesh. From this mesh we're getting head, and we're getting forward vector of this head rotation, and then we're getting 20 centimeters in front of it, and then we are promote to so this is in world space. Okay, so let's do oh, okay, it's going to be even easier than that. Oh my god, it's going to be a lot easier. So what we want to do is do two things. First of all, copy bone, and source bone is head, and target bone is gun. And we want to copy translation and rotation, and then we want to modify bone. So this is rotation. We want to also do translation, expose, and we want to do, so X is forward, I guess. So we want to do 20. Okay, so we're just copying, moving our gun to the head and moving it forward 20. So this is the ADS for now. Okay, this is like the first stage of it. Now let's of course connect the execution. So this is the first stage for our gun. Okay, that's not working really properly. Oh, interesting. Let's not copy rotation, just the position. Okay, but right now 20 is not really much, so we have to push it forward. Okay, let's go back here. Let's say, we ignore, we have to add to existing, of course. So 20 forward. Right now we had the weapon inside our gun, our head. So this is 20 on the X, so this is not forward. Oh yeah, because it's in, it's in component space. Okay, so this is 0, so Y is forward. So let's test. Okay, ADS. Woo, yeah, we are ADSing, kind of, except not really. So what we want to do now is to apply this weapon transform between the root of the weapon and the aim point. So let's do that. We go here. We go here. We don't need those calculations at all, because we are just using AK. Get aim point relative, we don't need this as well. And we're just going to say promote to variable site root adjustment. Okay, that works for me, except with the spaces. Okay, site adjustment. So now we have this being set from weapon. Okay, let's see if it works, if it's calculated properly. Doesn't seem to be working. Let's make sure that we are, ADS point, find reference. Okay, that explains a lot. No, not here, in the weapon template. So ADS point, find reference, set. Okay, and get ADS point goes here. Okay, so let's see what's wrong with it. If we hit play and we open our hand cannon, we can see our ADS point for this particular hand count being 000, I guess, which is not good. 000 1 0 0 0 1 1 1. Yeah, so it's not really working. And if we pick it up and do F8 and I go here, this guy, it has something. XYZ translation. Okay, there is a translation, So there's a site adjustment. Okay, so it is working. It's getting some site adjustment. So we got this. And now we got this. Okay, we're going to have to do it in two parts, honestly. So this will be ignored, not exposed. This is just the hand sway. We have to do something before the hand sway. So we need to do modify bone again. We need to get site adjustment, split, and just connect those two and say add to existing in component space. My poor boy is sick, so he's making those weird noises. Good boy. Yeah, add to existing component space, add to existing component space, and ignore the scale. You must pick a bone. Yes, it's virtual bone gun. Okay, so now we pick this up and it's completely wrong. Okay, it goes like this. So maybe it shouldn't be component space. Maybe it should be in... No, definitely not word space. It should be maybe in bone space. Oh, I guess not. Let's check it here again. F8. So yeah, now it goes like this. Maybe I shouldn't rotate it. Maybe all I have to do is the translation. So let's do the rotation 0, 0, 0 and make this component space and this ignore. It's a bit better, but still. The problem is that the root is rotated as well and translated. So damn it. The problem is those gas animations, because if you go into the weapon, like ironbelly is the best weapon solution on the marketplace, but still it's absolutely terrible. If you go here, you see that instead of moving the IK handgun to adjust position of the weapon to hand, they actually move the root of the weapon itself. So you got here the socket joint, which is in the hand, in the wrist, and then the weapon is being moved and rotated to fit the weapon in hand, which is the worst possible idea ever to make. So root joint is this. Okay. Socket joint, root joint. Oh. I mean, working with some of the marketplace assets is just really frustrating, to say the least. So if I don't do that, or let's say if I do, let's do it wrong way. So basically, you should be able to calculate inside the weapon the difference between the root of the weapon and the socket, which is just like a side point, right? and you can then move this socket forward, backward, up and down, and it will adjust the position of the weapon in compared to the head bone. But I cannot do that because iron belly weapons are stupid. So instead of that, I'm just going to say 30 and minus 20 by hand, and this is just a guess estimation to show how it works. So yeah, definitely not. Let's go back here. Let's say minus 13 minus 2, 20. Let's try it. And that's a lot better. I could move it not so far. So let's say, oh, let's say 0, let's say 20, let's say minus 12. And maybe this is fine. Oh, no, 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 not 0. So this was not 0. Translation X is at least 1. Or even more. 2. Oh, I'm sorry, this should be minus 1, not 1. Not 2, not 1, but minus 1. Okay, minus 2 then. Yeah. Minus 1.5. 20 minus 20, 20.8. And let's see it now. Close enough. And by the way, because what we did with the attachments, this will actually work with them. So it will make extra adjustment for the attachment. So let's go into any of the attachments. Let's say this high one. And you see that it did an adjustment because it's being calculated later on, and it works with aim offset, it works with everything. So this is how you can make dynamic ADS and dynamic attachment adjustments to your aim. Of course, the quality of the end product is depending on the quality of the inputs that you have. So the quality of the animations, you can't completely sustain all animations by swapping them with you know, IK entirely. It's impossible to make it look good. And also the quality of how the assets are being prepared. Like in this example, the weapons, animations of the hands and the weapons are in sync, but they are in sync in the worst possible way you could do it. So making it perfect, making it super nice is it's really challenging. But this method would work for any weapon, any pack, and any attachments that you add in future that are child of the blueprint class that you have selected. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next tutorial.